Hello again, it's me, Lucas. I just wanted to give you guys an update on everything that I'm working on the moment, because it's kind of a lot. I also know it's been a while since my last video, so I figured it'd be good to give you guys an update so you know kind of where things stand and where I'm going to be heading with all this in the future. So I began working on some of the art for the comic that I mentioned in my last video. I'll show you some examples and like a time lapse of one of the pieces that I created. If you follow my Instagram, you should already know the title of the comic. It's called The Well. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details about the story of The Well. I'll give you kind of a summary of what it's about without spoiling anything. Basically, we have our main character, Norman Booker. Norman starts as just some regular guy working a dead-end job that he kind of hates, and he's, kind of lamenting the world that he lives in because he's bored with his life that he really hasn't done that much with. But eventually, I don't know if it would be considered fortunate or unfortunate for him, his life becomes a whole lot more interesting whenever he ends up, for unknown reasons, which will eventually become known, he ends up moving through a fourth physical dimension into a parallel world. In this parallel Earth, there was some kind of apocalypse that ended up causing all of humanity to recede into a megastructure dug into the ground, also known as, you probably guessed it, The Well. As Norman adjusts to the new world he was just abruptly pulled into, he starts to make friends and also some enemies. On his journey, he also discovers the dark truth about the nature of reality and his own place in it. I think it'll be quite an interesting story. I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy reading it as much as I did actually creating it. To give you an idea of the art style, I'm sort of going for a Mobius type art style, that kind of sci-fi genre. At some point I do plan on starting a Patreon for, I guess, just this, everything I'm doing in general. So that would include early access to the chapters of the comic, videos for like work in progress pieces that I'm making, and also files with higher resolution images of the different artworks that I end up creating. If this comic ends up becoming popular enough, I might at some point start selling merch for it. Not entirely sure how likely that is, but it's just a possibility that I'm leaving open. On top of that, I also am going to be making a website. I have the domain and everything, and there's like a placeholder thing there for now. But basically it's going to be sort of a portfolio website where I have different artworks that I created. That's also where you're going to be able to access the new chapters of the comic for free. And it's just going to have a bunch of different personal work. But like I said, unfortunately it's not done yet because I'm making it entirely from scratch, just like everything else that I've done so far. So it'll probably take me a good bit to get that done, but I will definitely be posting about it whenever it is done, so stay tuned. I'll also be uploading the next video that I'm making probably pretty soon. I plan on recording it within the next day or two, but it's going to be the video about my photography trip to Colorado. Hopefully the Colorado video is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be a different pace than the first two videos I've released so far, because these have just been sort of me talking at you and talking about what I'm planning on doing. That will be a video that's actually about, doing photography, and it'll be a lot more, hopefully a lot more interesting than the first two videos that I'm releasing. Speaking of photography, I also just started a Darkroom website. It's lucasdoesart.darkroom.tech, and on this site you can purchase prints of pretty much any photo that I've taken, for any of this film photography shindig. So consider checking that out. It would definitely help me a lot if you would consider purchasing one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing and following my socials. I'm going to put the link for those in the description. to keep updated with all the different projects that I'm working on, you know, try to figure out where it stands, because I don't post on YouTube super regularly, but I post more frequently on like my Instagram, and I'm going to be posting semi-regularly on my website as well. If you like this video, please consider giving a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.